Cosatu is shocked by the recent reports by Pick n Pay that it is planning to cut 10% of its workforce. The union says it is regrettable considering the fact that the country is grappling with the highest unemployment rate since 2003. Well, Pick n Pay says that it had cut around 3,500 jobs. The cuts were made through a voluntary severance program. The announcement by one of the country's largest grocers comes as the country grapples with its first recession in 8 years. The retail giant says the move aims to curb its costs. Established in 1967, Pick n Pay is the country's second largest supermarket chain and boasts more than 1,500 outlets. We're now joined on the phone line by Sizwe Pamla, the Cosatu spokesperson, for his reaction. A very good morning to you, Sizwe. Thank you so much for joining us. Just talk us through Cosatu's reaction to Pick n Pay cutting its employment force by 10%.
Well, look, as Cosatu, we are very shocked to hear that Pick n Pay is planning to retrench 10% of their workforce. This is a nightmare for the workers because already we have got more than 9 million people who are unemployed. The mining sector is also hemorrhaging jobs at an alarming rate. To hear now that Pick n Pay really is just retrenching because of a crisis of profit. This is a company, after all, that has been using labor brokers to really employ these workers. So these workers have been nothing more than glorified slaves in the first place. And to think that despite all of that exploitation and the massive profits that they've made on the back of these workers, they are dumping them onto the unemployment line. This is something that we find totally unacceptable. And we strongly believe that there is an attempt by most of these companies to use the recession to really do the kind of restructuring that they were planning to do in the first place. We don't think all of them are being transparent with the workers and the people of South Africa, because we want to see the book before these companies can be allowed to really do this kind of restructuring and these massive retrenchments. We have to see their books in terms of the profits that they are making, because we can't have the situation where all of these companies are going to use the recession to really get rid of workers.
Now, according to Pick n Pay, already 3,500 people have been given severance packages or voluntary severance packages. Do we know exactly how many jobs in total are at stake?
Well, so far we're still trying to really grapple with the situation. We're working with our affiliated union, SACAO, to be able to get more details and more information. Like we have said, we are suspicious that these companies are seeing an opportunity here to say, because while at the same time they are talking about retrenching in South Africa, most of these companies are actually expanding outside of the country. You can go to the continent. There's a lot of expansion. These companies are actually investing some of the profits that they've been hiding either outside the country or in the bank. So we demand some level of transparency because we don't really buy the stories that have been told to us so far.
And just moving forward, what is the way forward? I mean, you've talked about transparency, but is there any other way that Pick n Pay can save these employers their jobs?
Well, there is a way, and we've been proposing this at the Federation. We have long said that when it comes to issues of jobs, because now we're in a crisis situation, we need a job summit. Because with a job summit, we are able to bring employers and other social partners around the table and deal with the issue of jobs at a national scale. Right now, it's difficult to really deal with these issues at a shop floor level, where you just leave shop stewards and some few organizers to deal with the proposed entrenchment. We want this to be something that can be discussed all around the table by all social partners, because without this stakeholder engagement, we are really going deeper into a crisis. So we did this after the 2008 global crisis, when the global economy collapsed. In 2009, we convened a job summit and we signed a job pact where government was able to give some incentives to these companies to be able to keep to retain jobs. So we think that we need something like that, and we've been calling for that job summit for some time. We remain hopeful that all of the social partners are going to respond, because we cannot allow this situation to continue the way it is now.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on VUCA Africa. Sizwe Pamla, the Cosatu spokesperson, just giving us their reaction to Pick n Pay planning to cut 10% of jobs, proposing there that there should be a job summit to try and avert this.